I, as I can.
Well, good evening, everyone, and we thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Kenneth Hunter. I'm the assistant to the city manager for budget and evaluation for the city of Rocky Mount, and I'm pleased to be here tonight for this virtual town hall to present and discuss the proposed operating budget for the city of Rocky Mount for fiscal year 2025-2026. The way that this discussion and presentation are going to go this evening is that I'm going to take an opportunity for a few minutes to go over a presentation that was actually presented to City Council by our City Manager, Elton Daniels, last night. And then once that presentation is over, you will have the opportunity, using the comment section on our city's YouTube channel, to ask some questions if you have them with respect to this year's budget. We also will go over the schedule for future work sessions. We had our first work session with City Council yesterday, and also how you can participate in the public hearing process. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started with the presentation. And you should see it on the screen. And I'll go ahead and get started. And again, this presentation provides an overview of our proposed operating budget for the city of Rocky Mount for fiscal year 2025-2026. In developing this budget, we made sure, and the city manager made sure, that our funding ensures the continued focus of this city in 5 key focus areas, which include public safety, people, fiscal stewardship, quality of life, and infrastructure. And our budget does reflect investments and continued support for the operations in these key areas amidst challenging financial situation. Overall, our proposed budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 for the 8 operating funds that you see there is $276,722,140. This budget is balanced and does align with the requirements for a balanced budget as established by North Carolina's Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act. This slide here provides an overview of the budget with respect to each of our 8 operating funds, which includes our general fund, which is associated with most of the general government services that you receive here at the city, which is proposed to be at $95,385,470. This is a reduction of nearly $4 million compared to the budget that was adopted for fiscal year 2025. I will take some time now to explain some of the other funds that are listed there. The PAL Bill Fund, which is proposed to be at $2,425,000, is a fund that is used for surface transportation improvements, which are funded primarily through a state appropriation that we receive annually for city-maintained streets. The E911 fund, which is at $250,000 proposed, is for qualifying expenses associated with our emergency telecommunications or E911 system, and again, that is primarily funded through state revenue. Through state revenue. The next funds that I'll be going over, the next 5 funds, reflect each of our 5 utility operations. First, there is the electric fund, which is at $99,283,390. Then our gas fund, which is natural gas services, at $30,055,000. Our water fund at $18,745,000. Our sewer fund at $22,625,000. And last but not least, our stormwater fund, which is at $7,953,280. Overall, our total operating budget proposal for fiscal year 2025-2026, again, $276,722,140, is $7,227,220 less than what was adopted for the current fiscal year. Take some time now to discuss specifically our general fund, which again is associated with most of the services that you expect here provided by the city. Again, the total budget that we are proposing is just under $95.4 million. This budget has been developed under some under some challenging situations with respect to finances. We are committed to rebuilding our fund balance, and that does include, so this budget does include a $1.5 million allocation to rebuild those reserves. We also will not be appropriating any fund balance as part of this proposed budget, and we do have a proposal in this budget to eliminate the current 20-cent tax on property located in our municipal service district here in downtown, and that does result in a revenue decrease of $75,000. With respect to more information about revenues, our proposed budget does not include a property tax rate increase. Our proposed budget includes a tax still at 58 cents per $100 of assessed value. There are some fee adjustments that we have included with respect to the proposed budget, and this does reflect fee adjustments necessary to reflect cost of service in these areas. We are recommending a 7.5% increase in our water rates, which at the household level means an increase of about $1.35 a month on an average residential bill. We also have a 10% increase recommended with respect to sewer rates, which increases the household bill by $2.75 a month. We also have an increase in our stormwater utility rate of $1 per unit, which most residential properties are just 1 unit, so this would be $1 a unit increase per month. And then also increases to our monthly solid waste cost, which on a per household basis is about $2.25. Tie these together, and you would see a total average residential increase on your utility bill of about $7.35 per month. There are obviously other things that we had to do in order to balance the budget for this coming fiscal year. First of all, we have not added any new positions in the upcoming budget. We have also taken the need to identify and freeze 62 vacant positions across the city, and we'll talk a little bit more about those here in just a second. We are also not recommending any wage increases in our proposed budget for the coming year. And there is the possibility, as we talked with council last night, that there may be an effort to try to find funding for some wage increases, but that is not included in our proposed budget. With respect to these frozen positions, as you can see, the total of these positions are 62, with 54 of them reflecting departments that are based in the general fund, and then 8 of the frozen positions in departments associated with our enterprise funds. The city manager's office would see 4 frozen positions, human resources 3, finance 3, central services 1, technology services 3, business and collection services 10, police 9, public works 9, engineering 1, Parks and Recreation 8, Development Services 2, Community Development 1, those are all with respect to the general fund, and then with respect to the enterprise funds, Energy Resources 4, Water Resources 2, and Stormwater 2. Other actions that we have taken in order to reduce costs, in order to balance this year's budget without a tax increase and without appropriation of fund balance, include approximately $17.6 million in reductions and cuts from initial department requests. Departments are involved heavily in our budget development process and provide submissions of requests at the beginning of the process. Those requests are reviewed internally by staff, and then adjustments are made with respect to available resources and initiatives. As such, with respect to our current financial situation, it was necessary to make about $17.6 million in cuts from those initial requests. That encompasses a 20.1% reduction in our operating expenditures and a 34.7% reduction in our capital outlay. In addition, we are utilizing supplemental state grant funds that we have already received of about $1 million and be able to reassign funding that is associated with the city's annual housing grant program and also efforts that we have with homelessness response. With respect to the reductions in capital outlay, several projects that we have spoken with council and been planning on and that were presented to City Council in the presentation of our CIP, Capital Improvement Program, that was presented back in March at the City Council retreat, did have to be deferred in order to balance the budget. This includes the Battleboro Community Building, improvements to our city warehouse, and continued improvements to our technology infrastructure and software, also reductions in police special response equipment, and also the deferral of 2 neighborhood park renovations, which includes the first phase of the Inglewood Park renovation and renovations to Cloverdale Park. Even with these reductions, there are still several capital improvement projects that we are moving forward with in the coming fiscal year. These projects primarily prioritize maintenance as well as essential growth, and they are in line with our available funding limitations. As you can see with this list here, there are several projects of note, including with respect, and I will take this here to show it a little differently. In the general fund, you will see that we have one piece of fire apparatus that we will be replacing, as well as several items of heavy equipment that are used in the crews in our Public Works Department and Parks and Recreation Department to support our infrastructure. We also are going to be making repairs to our solid waste transfer station, as well as two other large projects, which include relocation of our compost facility and expansion of our LCID landfill. With respect to our utility enterprises, again, we have some significant expenses with respect to necessary heavy equipment replacement, as well as over $10 million in projects associated with electric transmission, distribution, and expansion. There's $875,000 of improvements for gas system expansion and development, as well as over $3.25 million, similar case for water distribution and treatment, and over $4.6 million with respect to sewer distribution and treatment. Finally, in stormwater, we have budgeted $1,225,000 for various neighborhood drainage improvements. Talking a little bit more with respect to our utility funds, we obviously have to track and forecast the position of these funds on an annual basis with respect to revenues in order to ensure that we have the resources necessary to provide the services that you expect. In our electric fund, we feel that our margin is relatively stable with respect to sales and the cost of wholesale power. In our gas fund, we are seeing a decrease in our margin, which has been due to some reduced usage as well as higher wholesale rates. On the water and sewer side, usage remains steady, and we do have additional growth in our ability to serve customers possible via local development that is occurring in our area. With the stormwater fund, we did, of course, have to recommend a rate increase, which is the first rate increase since 2014, in order to stabilize revenue, in order to provide the projects and improvements that are necessary with respect to stormwater drainage. Going back to our general government operations, we continue to support numerous community investments throughout the city. It will be something that we will be evaluating, and the city manager talked about this yesterday, how we can make the most and be the most efficient and effective in the utilization of our limited resources in supporting these initiatives. Primarily, when I say that, we're focusing on the various events that we host here at the city, including the upcoming Juneteenth Festival, the Fall Barbecue Throwdown, our Summer Downtown Live series, which is also taking place right now, and also other activities like our End of Summer celebration. We were able to retain funding for our downtown grants and incentive programs, as well as continuing to invest in neighborhood revitalization, and also continuing to support our commitments to various outside agencies, including Braswell Memorial Library and various nonprofits and community partners. So to wrap up this portion of tonight's virtual town hall, just talk a little bit about what to look ahead as respect to this budget development process. Tonight's virtual town hall, we greatly appreciate your participation and attendance, and we look forward to your questions. We do have potentially 2 additional budget work sessions that will be taking place, and you'll have a chance to watch them here on the city's YouTube channel, or you can attend in the committee room of City Hall. Our next work session is next Monday, June 2nd at 5 p.m., and if needed, council can schedule a work session for Wednesday, June 4th at 5 p.m. The public hearing that is required as part of statute for adoption of our annual budget will be held during the City Council meeting on Monday, June 9th at 7 p.m., and it'll, of course, be held in council chambers. The adoption of our budget is scheduled to take place during the regularly scheduled City Council meeting on Monday, June 23rd at 4 p.m. And, of course, all of this together comes on July 1st when we start the new fiscal year. So with that, I appreciate your time, and we are happy to look forward to your comments as you provide them on our YouTube channel. And at that point, if there's any questions that anybody has, we are certainly ready to answer them. we especially want to thank our city manager, our new city manager, Elton Daniels, for his leadership in the various improvements and changes that you've seen with respect to the budget process. And just to let everyone know, we do have staff here monitoring with respect to your comments, so as you provide your comments, we will be happy to answer them at any time. Just want to mention again that we will have a public hearing that residents are welcome to attend and express their comments and thoughts with respect to the upcoming annual operating budget. And we will have that on on Monday, June 9th at 7 p.m. during our regularly scheduled council meeting. Sounds like from the comments that have been received so far that many of you have found this presentation to be very helpful. And I certainly want to thank, obviously, Mr. Daniels and also our communications office, our Office of Communication, Marketing, and Public Relations, and their staff, Grant Robertson, Robin Cox, and Mark Adcox. The three of them, along with other members of our team in the city manager's office, have been very helpful in the improvements we've made with communication as associated with Mr. Daniels' leadership here at the city. And we'll take just a couple more seconds just to see if anybody does have any comments or questions that you would like to ask. So if we're going to we appreciate your participation. We're going to stay on for about 2 more minutes to see if anybody has any comments that they would like to add. And also, please remember that all of the meetings that we've talked about, our upcoming budget work sessions, as well as the council meetings where the public hearing will take place and also budget will be adopted, are also broadcast live and are also available in archive on the city's YouTube channel, here where you're watching now. Okay, we're going to bring up the schedule just one more time for everybody's benefit, and I think we'll be closing out here pretty soon. Again, this virtual town hall, of course, has been scheduled today, May 29th. Our next 2 budget work sessions, one is confirmed for Monday, June 2nd at 5 p.m. There is the possibility that another work session, if needed, will take place on Wednesday, June 4th at 5 p.m. Both of these are held here in City Hall in the committee room on the 3rd floor. The public hearing that obviously you as residents have the opportunity to participate in will take place during our city council's next formal meeting, next regularly called meeting on Monday, June 9th at 7 p.m. here in the council chambers of City Hall. And then the adoption of our budget will take place during the regularly called council meeting on Monday, June 23rd at 4 p.m. We did receive a question about how did the fund balance get low. We did have the opportunity to discuss that during the presentation of the audit a couple of weeks ago. The fund balance reduction was due to several increases in expenditures tied to completion of capital projects, as well as the implementation of our employee classification and compensation program, which took place in July of 2023. We're going to take just one more minute, see if anybody else has any other comments they would like to add. I really do appreciate, and all of us here at the city and the people that have been involved with this budget and this production, thank you for your participation, and we thank you for the responses that you've given us of support this evening and throughout. It means a lot to us here at the city, and we obviously want to ensure that we meet and exceed your expectations. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, and we look forward to your continued comments and feedback, and also your participation in our upcoming public hearing on Monday, June 9th. Again, thank you and good evening.